Is online MBA a worth investment? I've been getting this question a lot these days, especially because of the corona pandemic, as well as in general also, whether it's advisable to go for an online or a distance MBA program or not. So what I've done is I've divided this video into a couple of cases based on your age as well as your stage of life, so that you guys can figure out in whatever stage you are, whether it's advisable to go for an online or a distance MBA program or not. So hi everyone, my name is Rohit Jha, and in this video I'm going to specifically talk about whether it's advisable to go for an online MBA or not, based on the couple of cases which we have designed for you guys. So before I start, please do subscribe to our channel and press the icon on your screen so that you will be notified whenever we'll upload new videos on variety of career opportunities on global MBA MIM programs, interview skills, as well as on resume and profile building. Just quickly tell you about the brief background, you know, what recruiters or the companies they're looking for when they hire MBA grads. So MBA actually it's about experience. It's about networking with people, it's about problem solving, and it's about handling pressure, working in teams, working with peers. You know, all these things makes an MBA program unique in itself. Now, if you think that if you become an expert by doing MBA in XYZ domain, then you won't become an expert. If the recruiters, they have to hire an expert, they will go for some other specific degrees, for example MS degrees or CFA or any other relevant degree in that particular domain. But when they look for MBA grads, they look for problem solvers, they look for decision makers, they look for people who can work with people, who can take pressure, you can handle pressure situations, who can network with people, you can gel with people. And these things actually sets the tone for an MBA program. And that's why when you do an MBA program, it's equally important that you learn the case analysis, you do a lot of brainstorming, discussion, you work with peers, you work in teams, you go for live projects, you do internships. All these things makes this program unique, and these are the learnings which are most relevant for all of the domains, and thus that's what make an MBA program unique in itself. Now, why I'm telling you, because this is directly related to the cases that we are going to discuss, and based on that we are going to say whether it's advisable to do an online MBA or a distance MBA or not. So now let's discuss the first case here. For example, now case number one, you are a fresh college graduate just out of your college. Now you're thinking what to do. Can I go for an MBA or full-time program or an online MBA? You have a job, for example, which you are going to start soon. So I would recommend at this stage, of course, online or distance MBA will not make any sense to you, as well as it's not going to add any value to your profile. So if you have a job, I would recommend go for the job and work for a couple of years and then go for a full-time MBA program. You can get into a very good school after working for a couple of years. That's one aspect you can look for. Another, you can just try and maybe work hard. If you are very certain that I'm going to do MBA right now, then try and prepare and get into a good MBA school. So that would be a logical step, rather than just going for a cheaper option and just check out an online MBA program or a distance MBA program, which is not actually in the long run will add any value to your profile at this moment. Now there's another case number two, where I've seen professionals who have worked for some time after their bachelor's degree. Now after a couple of years, maybe 5 or 6 years, they think that now then they are stuck, or maybe they want to change their industry, they want to change their domain, or maybe some other reason they want to change their job. Now they think that online MBA or a distance learning MBA could be a right platform that will give them the right, I would say, platform or tone to change their respective industry or domain. But to be very honest, in more than 95% of the cases, this is not going to be a possibility. If you do an online MBA at that stage also, see, whatever you have done as an expert, you will become an expert in that field. So rather than going for an online MBA at that stage, which is only just a tick mark in your CV, nothing else, is not going to add any value to your profile, and you won't be able to change any domain or move to the higher management, which you might be thinking that if I do an online MBA or a distance learning degree, it will be helpful for me after working for 5-6 years or maybe a couple of years. So it's not going to be beneficial. Rather, you should maybe plan your career ahead and go for an executive MBA program, because just don't be confused with the online MBA as well as the executive MBA programs. Those two programs are completely different. So they are very good programs. I made separate videos on that as well. They offer a very good 1 year full-time executive program. So go for such programs, which even if you take a break for a year for those programs are going to add a real value to your profile. And even if you want to change your industry or domain or something like that, it is quite possible if you take that route rather than going for this option, which is in the short term might look lucrative to you, but in the long run it's not going to be beneficial at all. So this is the second case. Now the third case which I've seen is the professionals, or maybe there is a gap in your corporate career and then you want to make a comeback. So I've seen people, they are just trying to see that whether can I do an online MBA or a quick MBA program, distance learning, so that I can come back to the industry and get a job. Now again, this is not going to be a possibility. Maybe less than 1% chances that because of that particular degree. I'm not saying doing an online MBA or distance MBA is a problem. You can do it. I'll tell you the case another where it's going to be beneficial, but in these cases it's not going to be beneficial. It is not going to give you the right comeback platform, right? So just don't go for these degrees, or specifically MBA degree, if you're planning to have a comeback. Rather, than a good option would be whatever you have done in your life, just focus on that. Try to do some other courses, maybe gather some technical skill set or some other short-term courses which are very much aligned to your career. Now if you do that, if something is aligned to your career, then that can still make you employable and you can still make a comeback without any MBA degree. So people fail to understand the value of other degrees or other options. There are a lot of other options in the market which you can do it. You can become an expert in a particular domain where you are interested, rather than just going for this online MBA or distance MBA degrees. I can understand, because nowadays it's getting very popular. Almost every second university they're offering online or distance education. So technically they are just making money out of it. They also know this is not really much of a value add, rather than just an academic knowledge which you can just get it over internet as well. So in all these first three cases, I don't see any value personally that whether you should go for an online MBA or a distance MBA program. Now the last case where I see some value, when let's say you are a professional and you have worked for a substantial time in the industry, maybe 10 years or 10 plus years. Now what will happen after you work for such a long time? You definitely become an expert in any particular domain. Now there may be a case where there is an eligibility criteria where they need a master's degree or an MBA degree to just move up the ladder into the senior management or something like that. There are cases in the industry where they need the degree as an eligibility, and some people might face some difficulty because of this. Now for these cases, online MBA or a distance MBA program will make sense, because again this is going to fulfill your eligibility criteria, and of course just good to know some knowledge, some business knowledge. But you already have an expert, your background, those things are going to matter if you talk about the career growth. Now this online MBA or this distance learning degree will give you a support or cushion at this stage only in terms of the eligibility criteria. So this is the only case where I see some value out of this online and distance learning programs. So these are the cases which I personally believe, these are the cases which all of you will fall. If you think there is some another case, you can just feel free to drop your questions in the comments. We would love to answer all your questions. But let me just quickly tell you a disclaimer, or whatever you want to take it. So this is not related to the current situation of coronavirus, where some schools are actually moving to the online program for a couple of months just because of this particular situation. It's not that they're gonna move completely to an online MBA program and discard the regular MBA program. So I have made another separate video whether it's a good time to go for an MBA program or not. That's again a separate story based on the duration of the program and other factors. So don't confuse these two, and don't mix it with the executive MBA program also, because there are full-time executive MBA programs as well in the market. This is completely focused on online as well as distance MBA, which I have seen which is gaining a lot of popularity these days. So this is about this video. So thank you so much for listening to me, and keep watching. Do like, comment or share and give your feedback, and in case you need any guidance, feel free to connect with us or mention your questions in the comments. In the meantime, take care and bye bye.